What's going on, guys? You got Quasi here for Quasi Media Network, Quasi Animation Studio. So I want to walk you through my process to create a character. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and again, this is me just dealing with Human Generator. All right, so if you're dealing with another program or whatnot, that's fine, but I'm gonna deal with Human Generator. Okay, so I'm gonna just pick a model, and I'm not gonna do a lot of changes. So I'm gonna just ensure that the character is just what I want him to be. All right. uh, or just for the sake of this video. Okay, so let's go into render mode, and what I'll do is check his height. I think he's tall enough. So now I'm gonna go to his age, and it usually defaults to 30. I'll make him like 46. And again, this is just, just really quick stuff. I like to turn the overlay off for the bones, just so I can look at the body. We'll randomize, 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 randomize. See what I get. I'll clear that. I have a better idea. So this is what I'll do. I'll push this to there, click, yeah, because I don't want them to be too big because I want to be able to deal with how the clothes fit on him because we're going to be dressing the character. So I'm just showing you my personal workflow. All right, so that's cool or whatnot. I'm going to change the depth of his eyes because I feel like they're too far forward. And then down here in the presets in other, I like to mess with these. So I'm gonna make this like 0.25 on the plus. And then down here in these last three, I'm gonna go negative 0.35 because it gives you like this very distinctive look. But I feel like his nose is too big, so I'm gonna play with that a little bit. Ah, okay. The bridge, push it up a little bit more. All right. And then the width, change that. Excuse me, sorry. All right. So I feel like that's a little too sharp. I'm gonna click the model, and then we're gonna go into uh, sculpt mode. And then right here, I'm going to just smooth that out some because I feel like that's too sharp right there. All right. Yeah, I'm just going to smooth it out a little bit and go back into regular mode. All right, so we're back in object mode. Leave the character straight. So now what I'll do is I'll close this, and I'm going to go to skin, main settings, 1.7. I like to change the roughness to 1.7. I like to click that and I slide it because it gets to being wonky for some reason. And I think his skin is light enough, but I'm gonna bring it down just a little bit, and the redness, push it some more. Because I always feel if you add a little extra redness, it sort of makes the character feel a little bit more genuine. Turn all the freckles and stuff off. His eyes are already brown, but I'm gonna push it down a little darker. And here on the actual sclera, I like to sort of click right underneath right here a little, just a little, not a whole lot. Okay, and then bring it down some. All right. Now, in this case, I guess I'll give him some facial hair because I really want him to be bald headed with facial hair. So I'm going to give him some facial hair. And so go to eye and just take that and go to face. All right, so let's go to face. And since we have only certain ones, I want to give him one that makes it just feel, I don't know, a little different. So I'll give him this one. And then I like to go in and turn off the side parts. So like the parts that are like the small parts and go down to hair length and where it says sidelines, well, sideburns, I'm going to delete the sideburns and I'll actually delete the beard and then the sidelines because I don't need them. And so now we have something like that, right? I may even give him some. I thought about doing something for his head. If I do it, I say let's go long, and it'll be like a ponytail, right? You say the ponytail. The ponytail doesn't always come out well for me, but I like this. That's okay. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, let's go with that. Change the color. I'll make it dark, all the way dark. And the same thing for his facial hair. We're gonna make it all the way dark. All right. Because he has a little age on him, I'm going to salt and pepper his hair. So I'm gonna go back to head and I'm gonna go right here to salt and pepper and go 0.125. And there it is, right? That's more than enough. Okay. So now I'm gonna go to, oh, okay, I have everything. I'm not gonna deal with anything else. All right. So let's click the model because we're gonna use two programs here. We're gonna use this program and also I'm going to use uh, the I went blank. Going to also use um, Daz. Okay, so doing this project, and I'm just doing like a real quick how-to. So we're gonna just name him what they named him. So they named him Keith. So I'm gonna name him Keith. Okay, and then I'm gonna export Keith as just a normal FBX. So you just want mesh and then selected objects only, and then we're just gonna export Keith. Okay, and so I'm gonna close this side panel here for right now, and I'm gonna go over to Daz. I'm gonna go to import, and then we just want to go to where he is. Okay, so I'm gonna go over to where he is. I'm coming here and I'm going to how to since I'm just keeping it simple for right now and just accept it. Okay, so over here I want to I'm going to texture mode or solid. I'm gonna go to solid mode. Let's go to solid mode. Okay. That's yeah, solid smooth. All right. So over here in people, and I'm just going to use a Gen 8 male. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to position I'm going to use the clothing from here. So Daz is free, the clothing is not. Okay. So I come over here, I'm going to delete that. And in the parameters, uh-oh, I clicked it more than once. Let's open that back up. In the parameters, you have a resolution. I'm going to take it all the way down to 0 and make it a base. Okay. So in shaping, I'm come over here and search height. And I'm going to make sure that his height matches the other guys. Okay. So that's about right. All right. And then another thing I want to do is grab his arm and then I'm going to move it forward a little because this is where we're going to do our thing. All right. And then I'm going to shift Y and accept and do the same thing with the other arm because I want it to be basically be about the same. And then we're done there. All right. So I'm going to close this and then click him and I'm going to delete the model. All right. So since we just want clothing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my clothing and I'm going to keep it simple. So I'm not going to complicate it or whatnot. I'll go to just put something on him that's really relatively simple. So something like this, but I think I'll make it that. Yeah. So I'll add the shirt to him. Matter of fact, just undo that. I'm going to do the whole outfit, right? Okay. So I'm going to do the whole outfit and then now I'll go back to texture. It should give me the textures. Okay, so yeah, so we're back in texture. So we have our clothing, and I like to click the clothing, go back to parameters, and see what the resolution is. So I don't need it to be that high. Okay, so I'm just gonna bring it all down to base because if you want it to be higher, you can just change that in Blender, and that's a much more preferable manner to do it. Now this is where the whole draw is, right? So excuse me. So what you want to do is you need diffeomorphic. Okay, I did a video on that. That link is in the description. So we're going to use diffeomorphic, but we have to save the character model first. And because of where we put it, I'm going to put it where he is. So where I got the character from. Okay. So since it's in here, I'm just going to put it right there. It's no biggie. So I'll just say Keith. Come on, guy. Keith underscore clothing, right? And then we'll just save it. So because I can delete that later, even though this is what. So we're going to go to the script. So it'll be in your scripts, diffeomorphic. I'm going to turn off HD UV's export. I don't need it. And we're going to wait it out. So it's done. Now we go back to Blender. And in my side panel, I want to go to Daz setup. And again, the diffeomorphic video tells you how to set all those things up. And I'm going to click the duff file and I'm going to come over here and go to merge toes because sometimes it takes longer when it comes in. So because the character has texture on it, it's going to be a second to bring in depending on the speed of your individual machine. So wait on that. And again, I like to do my videos raw. I don't do all the editing or whatnot. And the reason for this is you get to see all the things and the difficulties that could come with this. All right, so here I'm going to grab, because if we turn the bones on, right, we can see that his armature is selected. I'm going to control select the mesh and I'm going to delete it. Now, this is where things in this add-on come into work. So we're going to go to collection, unlock. I'm going to click lock and then I'm going to unlock those channels, okay? Because it'll allow me to be able to move those pieces freely if I so need to. But you see how close it is to where I need it to be, okay? So when you see feet sort of sticking out, don't worry about that because the only thing matters is the bone. We just care about this. This is all we care about. We don't care about nothing else, okay? Okay, so now We're going to make minor adjustments to this physical mesh. So we're going to go back into solid mode. And what I like to do, because I know that there is, on these, there are still vertex groups. If you don't have it, you don't need to do that. You can do this individually by coming over here and just deleting the group, right? But what I like to use is ARP if you have it. If you do not have it, do not worry about that. But I'll come up here to where it says skin and then unbind. So it'll unbind everything all at once. If you have ARP, Auto Rig Pro, then you can do that. If not, just come over here and delete them as just go to delete all groups on each individual part. Now, because he's pretty much inside of it, I'm not going to do too much worrying, but I'm going to go ahead and hide his bones again. All right, through the view layer. No, I'll turn it off from over here. So I turn it off from over here. And I want to click it and go into sculpt mode. We're going to hit G, expand it a little bit, and I want it on dual. So I'm going to mirror. So I'm going to mirror it a little bit just to push it up some so we can get all this goodness in here. All right. Okay. So what in the world is that? Oh, that's a button. Clearly the button didn't want to go, but that's fine, I guess. That's weird how they did that. It snapped. All right. So let me put this in place. Okay. Let's see what we have here. I'll keep looking. All right, I feel like that's not tight enough, so let's get a little closer. Yeah, this is the same thing on the back part here. Yeah, so let's get a little tighter. All right, same thing here. You want to hit Alt Q and it'll switch to the pans. Don't forget to hit mirror. All right, okay, I think pretty good there. I'm gonna go back up here to the top and make sure that this is straight. Because again, if it's on mirror, then you don't have to worry about too much mirroring. All right. So because we turned off all that resolution, I want to select everything, hit F3, and I want to delete do loose and also merge by distance just in case. So I'm coming over here to the modifiers, search, and I'm going to go to smooth because I just want to smooth it, and then I'm just going to control A to smooth out any wrinkles. Same thing down here. I want to grab the pants, hit A to select everything, F3, merge, delete loose, just to ensure if there's no extra things. Do the same thing all the way to the bottom. All right. So with that being done, we have that set. So now this is the beautiful part. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is straight. I'm not going to fix it on the foot because again, the shoes are going to be replacing the feet. Okay. So what I want to do is now you can do this with your normal setup with Blender if you have your rig set up or whatnot, right? So I like to have the control rig already on the character. So let's go back to human generator and I'm going to go to expressions. I'm going to add the facial rig. I am not going to set for an R kit because I'm not using that. All right. Now, with this being on, right, what I want you to understand is if you choose to use Rigify, you can do what I'm about to do. So I'm going to do it with Rigify because it's the same setup and the same process if you use, uh, what is it called? Auto Rig Pro. Okay, so we're going to generate the rig. The rig is generated. Click this. I'm going to put it in front because it likes to hide. And what I like to do is come up here and turn off the layers that I'm not going to use. So I know I'm not using that. I tend to turn off the tweaks, the fingers, and we know that it's already an IK. So I'm going to turn off the arm tweaks and the IK tweaks. So, I mean, the leg IKs, I'm going to leave those on. All right. So now all of that's on. Let's test to make sure that it's working properly for the character. All right. So it is. Now, this is where the thing comes in. Again, you can do this with ARP and or Rigify. So I'm going to grab his shirt and then click the model, right? And then over here, I'm going to hit bind. Now, you can do the same thing, right? If you decide, okay, I want to go ahead and bind the shirt to the rig. And what you can do is just go ahead and hit not Alt P, I'm sorry, Control P, and then just bind with automatic weights. It's the exact same process. The only difference is we just use ARP to do it. Okay. All right. So I'm doing the same thing again, and I'm doing it one at a time instead of all at once because sometimes Blender will be like, hey, I'm going to choke on you and then crash. Okay. So we don't want it to crash on us. I've had that happen a multitude of times depending on what it is. It tends to do that with shoes. Okay. So we're going to wait it out. And then once we see bind disappear, we know we're ready. All right. And now the same thing, I'm going to click his boots. Again, I'm going to save again just in case it tries or decides it wants to crash. Click bind. Now again, you can do this with Blender's default setup because that's the way that it's set up, okay? So you don't have to do anything extra. Okay, so it's bound. All right, so now what I want to do is test it. So I'm going to click this. I'm going to go to the move tool. We can hit Control Space G and it can take us to the move tool. Hit 3 on the numpad, and I want to grab right here just to see how it did its job. Okay, so it's not the greatest bind, but there's little things that you can fix. Okay, and again, it's doing its job. The thing that gets me is the shirt. That's the issue here. But I feel like for me, what I would end up doing is removing the lower half of the shirt, and if we go into this and let's go into the mode, we can see what's doing what, right? So over here in the vertex groups, go to sort name, and then I'm going to do the drop down because we can search. Let's make sure that we search. So understand you can search for everything. You don't have to overthink this because up here, it'll show you what's looking at what too, and you do the same thing and I can search, okay? I tend to go to the side, but let's just stay right here where we are, right? So if you're using Blender 5 and above, okay? So now I want root. And the reason why I want root, oh, okay, it's not there. So does it say hip? Not hip, I'm sorry, spine. Yeah, we want spine. I don't want to go to spine, just the first spine. Okay, so I see there's nothing there, right? Okay, so I see it is light or whatnot. And the thing is I can see that it's not completely blurred. So it's coming with a blur. I'm gonna make this wider, and then I'll just start to blur it out, right? So we could see it, see how it's set. And I see where it's not completely. So go up here, I'm gonna go normalize, and then I'll start to blur it out again, right? I'm gonna normalize it a little bit. There we go. Just with the blur tool. All right. And then let's just check to see if that helped any, okay? And it may not have. But in this case, it did. It helped a lot more because it wasn't exactly great. So if I come back to the shirt and I go, let's go spine, and I go to spine 1, 2, 3. That is oh, I'm sorry, we're not in the thing. I'm tripping. All right, so let's go to spine 2. Okay, so I noticed the same thing here. It's not exactly as faded as it should be. So I want to soften it up some more. You can even come up here to weights and go smooth. Okay, I'm gonna go to 2, do the same thing. Again, because we want to make sure that it's not um, doing too much. Okay, I hate when it does that right there because it should be in the front also. Okay, so that's being done. Let's go back into object mode and I'll do the same thing here. I'll grab it again and see just how much it's altered. All right, not too bad. I'll grab the chest, rotate. And that is where we're going to do the test. So I noticed the way that it's set up. All right. But again, that's something for you to deal with. I'm just showing you that it can be done and the character can be utilized accordingly. But the clothing is on him. Now, I'm going to show you something I like to do. So I'll come over here to the character, do the same thing with the sort and the vertex groups. Hit the plus sign, go body. So in this case, we're going to go Keith underscore body. Now, because we didn't delete any of the extra particle systems, you're going to see all of those and you just go in and delete them one by one. All right, so all the extra ones, right? But I'm just going to come over here real quick. I'm going to add a mask. So I'm going to add the mask, go down to the mask, and over here where it says vertex group, you want to hit invert, and then we're going to type in Keith, and we're going to get body, right? So now over here in the vertex groups, what I want to do is stay there, and I'm going to go into clear, and then I'm going to make sure I'm uh, facing the front, and I'm just going to select everything up to here. All right, you can hit C and then do the same thing. Now, let me show you why I'm doing this, okay? So what I want to do is I want to select up to his chest, okay? So I'm going to select right here, right there, right there. Let's make sure all of these things are selected because I don't want anything to mess up. All right, and then just start making our way up because I don't want it to get past that point, right? So let's see where it's at. So I'm going to shift select these 2 points, and then in the arm, uh-oh, let's see. Yep, there we go. I'm just selecting 2 points so I can see what I'm selecting. Not that one. I think it's this one, right? Yeah, there we go. Okay. So now I can come in with my, let's see, yep, do it like that. Okay, so now everything's connected there. And then here, because where it goes just under the arm there, I'm going to select this one. The same thing over here, just under the arm. Where we at? Where we at? Where we at? Uh-oh. Uh, this one. Okay. And then I'm gonna hit C again to select everything that I want to select up to that point right there. Okay. Do the same thing over here because remember we are about to mask this out. So now I'll hit assign, come out of that mode, click it, and now we have our parts. So now if we come into this mode, back into pose mode, we don't see the clipping through the body anymore because we removed those parts. Okay. So I wanted to show you guys that because I know a lot of people are trying to figure out how to do those things, but the weights and all that stuff you had to figure out for yourself. And the reason why I say this is because again, I showed you the process and now you take that process and you move forward with it. So again, remember Daz is free. The clothing is not. If you have any clothing assets from anywhere else, just import them and then do exactly what I showed you just a little while ago. The reason why I'm remaking this video is because a lot of people are asking questions and these things have already been shown, quote unquote, right? So utilize that. Don't forget the Patreon exists. You come over there, it's free. If I do have anything that's paid, it's only because it's something that I'm doing that. Hey, I don't really necessarily do, but I learned how to do it, so I charge $2 or $3 for it, right? Or whatever the least amount I can charge on Patreon. Also, I have a new Discord. Go to Patreon. It will tell. I'm not posting a link here. It's the reason why I'm doing this. Yes, I know it seems scummy. I don't like it either. But go to Patreon. There's a link there. Click that link, okay, and it will give you the new Discord. And I'll be in that Discord w- anywhere between 2 to 3 times a week, just in there streaming and working. So if you really want to like get to know, that's be the place to go. I get it. Everybody wants you to get on Discord. You're probably in 80 Discords right now. I'm not. I'm like in like 20, and every last one of them are based in this. So with that being said, man, I hope they help somebody, and nothing but love.